Today I fucked up by accidentally giving my friends diarrhea. This happened like 2 nights ago, but it just hit me. My friends came over to hang out with me to cheer me up after an extremely depressing event. They kindly brought snacks and wine. I asked if they wanted anything to drink, and they both asked I make them a frappuccino. The way I make it is by mixing iced coffee with chocolate syrup and vanilla ice cream. Usually, there's no issues. Except this time. See, I didn't feel like drinking a frappe during the night, so I didn't test it. I bought a different ice cream brand than my usual because it was all they had available in the store. My friends quickly drank their frappuccinos and a few minutes in, they started feeling, well, off. One of my friends had to leave to go to a date, but he did say he had stomach cramps. Maybe I added too much coffee? I thought, but no. It got worse. My other friend started sweating and saying she felt like her stomach was going to explode. She was nauseous until her boyfriend picked her up. I later found out the friend that left earlier had to cancel his date because he had terrible diarrhea. So I checked. Guys, I used diet vanilla ice cream. The type that has the sweetener found in sugar-free gummies, the kind that is borderline a laxative, which probably got worse combined with the coffee, chocolate, and milk. I didn't realize until I tasted the ice cream and noticed it had a weird flavor. I gave my friends diarrhea. Too long did not read. Made frappuccinos for my friends with a laxative, cockblocked one of them, and had them both sitting in their toilets all night. I'm so sorry. Edit. Yes, I get it, I spelled diarrhea wrong. There, I fixed it. Damn. Edit 2. And for the love of God, English is my second language. I typed this extremely fast. Misspellings happen, typos happen. I don't understand the necessity to act like English professors in a post that isn't asking for corrections. If this was a literature sub, I'd get it. Oh man, the shits I got from the sugar-free chocolates was insane. I was just shitting all damn day. What an awful experience. When you were going to meet the girl, but your butt's about to hurl. Diarrhea cha-cha-cha, diarrhea. For anyone who may doubt the validity of this story, just look up, sugar-free Haribo, on Amazon. Get a cocktail, read the reviews and have a good ol' belly laugh. Did you create a better tasting pre-colonoscopy bowel clearing drink? Monetize that shit. On the bright side, your friends left before they demolished your toilet and/or sofa. TIFU. I lost a friend and am probably a creep. About a year ago, I, 31F, became friends with a guy from work. Let's call him Jake, 26M. We started chatting at a company party, got along, and hung out outside of work a few times. He was going through some stuff at the time. He recently got dumped, was about to graduate from college, and was trying to figure out what to do with the rest of his life. Many of these struggles resonated with my 20-something-old self, and it felt good to be able to impart some wisdom. On the other hand, he was confident and assertive, and I felt perhaps in that sense I could learn a little from him. I was also just happy that someone cool wanted to hang out with me. I'm a pretty anxious person, and I don't have a vibrant social life. Now, Jake was cute in a way that was hard for me to ignore, but he was never a viable partner for me. The thought was there at first, but it dissipated once he started to come to me for relationship advice regarding other women. I would never pursue someone who was not interested in me. There was also the age difference and the fact that we were in different places in our lives. While I was still a little attracted to him, I was firmly settled on not acting on it and not letting it show. I'm not normally very feminine, but I think I acted even more boyish around him, just so that it was crystal clear that no flirting was happening. At one point Jake invited me to his birthday party. I didn't want to disappoint a friend on his birthday, so I went, but I get anxious in social groups, especially if there are people I don't know, so I drank a lot to make myself at ease. After the party Jake became more absent, saying he had to study, which made sense. He agreed to meet up when he had more time, but he didn't follow up, and as bad as I am at reading social cues, I felt that he might not be very interested in seeing me, so I backed off. I felt a little sad about it though because I valued him as a friend, and I didn't understand what made him change his mind about me. So about 6 months later, I messaged him, and after we caught up I asked him directly if there was a reason he had blown me off, to which he replied that at the party I was all over him, and I had crossed his boundaries when he had told me to stop. He said that he liked me, but not in a romantic way, and that was too much for him to deal with. I was flabbergasted, apologized profusely, and asked about details, convinced that this was something that had been erased from my memory. After a few days of mulling it over I did recall a situation like this, but I remembered it a little differently. In my drunken mind, I was just showing friendly affection. I did something like rest my head on his shoulder, and when he pulled away and said he didn't want to be touched, I almost took it as a joke and purposefully touched his arm, to which he reacted very nervously, so I cut it off. This is a shitty thing I do when I'm drunk. I think it's funny to do the thing someone says they dislike to see how they react. One time a guy was going off about how he loved his shoes and hated it when someone stepped on them, and I thought it'd be funny to do exactly that. He screamed at me, I apologized instantly and again later when I sobered up, and it didn't ruin our friendship, but I admit it's a stupid, childish thing to do, and I don't know why on earth I do that. Honestly, though, I don't think I'm gonna do that ever again after this. Anyway, I trust his account better than my memory. If I had just been friendly, I wouldn't have made him so uncomfortable, and let's face it, I do have a history of becoming slutty when I drink. In the past, I have woken up naked next to people with little to no recollection of the events and had to explain to them that this wasn't in fact the beginning of our future together. I had just gotten wasted and wanted to get laid. I don't do that anymore. I barely even go out anymore, but I am what I am. And what I apparently am is a predatory creep that harasses young boys. I do wish he had told me straight up, instead of pretending everything was okay for months, but I understand that it was well within his rights. Maybe we could have stayed friends, but maybe what I did was unforgivable. I have a friend who crossed my physical boundaries once, and it changed how I felt about him, but I didn't cut him off. He apologized, and I know he understood it was not an okay thing to do to anyone. We survived it. But we had known each other for years, then maybe that friendship had a more solid foundation to begin with. This whole thing fucked me up pretty badly. I told one friend, who said that he had seen me drunk and flirty in the past, and it wasn't something that would traumatize anyone. He said it was normal for me to feel embarrassed, but it wasn't that big of a deal. It's been a few months and it keeps popping up in my head. I feel so ashamed and my self-esteem is at its all-time low. I guess I'm also a little concerned that this gets out. Although we don't really know a lot of the same people. I would maybe like to talk it through with him, but I don't think he's interested in talking, and I want to respect his wishes. I do recognize that I'm not the victim here and my sense of self-worth is none of his concern. I don't know how to process this by myself though. How do I recover from this? Do I even deserve to recover from this? Too long did not read. I lost a friend because I got too touchy and now I'm questioning my existence. Sis, respectfully, stop drinking. What you describe here isn't a, today I fucked up. You keep pushing people's boundaries when you drink. In no way is it funny to do what people ask you not to do. You typed out the awareness that you have over your actions and now it's time to take the next step. You have a problem with alcohol. If you're not able to recall events, you have a problem with alcohol. As bad as your behavior is, I think it's hilarious you think a 26-year-old man is young boy compared to 31. Reads like he's 16. You have a lot more self-awareness than many women who do sexually harass men on purpose. I think that although he was uncomfortable, even as someone who's really strict with age gaps, I feel it shouldn't be taken into account here. It doesn't seem you were predatory, and you can recover from it even if you can't recover the friendship. You should probably stay off the alcohol though, judging from what you've said. Even though you haven't done much atrocity at the moment, it could be a slippery slope depending on how often you drink. Mistakes happen, and it sounds like you made one. I wouldn't beat myself up over it too much as long as you learn from this, and if you can't moderate your drunken behavior, you can at least moderate your alcohol consumption. Sadly, in this life, not everything is fixable, and this might be one of these things. If he isn't willing to revisit the issue after this long, it's probably done. I would advise just learning from this and moving on. I almost took it as a joke and purposefully touched his arm, to which he reacted very nervously, so I cut it off. Yeah, if you cut off my arm, we'd be done too. Today I fucked up by bringing my mom to my army barracks. As a private, I was excited to have my family come to visit me at my barracks. It had been months since I had seen them and I wanted to show them around the base and the local area. I didn't think twice about bringing my mom with me to the barracks after PT one morning. As we walked towards my room, we passed by the communal showers. I didn't think anything of it since I was used to the routine of showering with the guys after morning exercises. But it was then that a group of guys came out of the showers, butt naked, and walked right past us. They quickly wrapped up with a towel, but it was too late. I could see the shock on my mom's face as she tried to avert her gaze. The guys were equally mortified and quickly covered themselves up, but the damage was already done. My mom had seen more than she bargained for and the awkwardness of the situation was palpable. Too long did not read. I brought my mom to the barracks to show her my room and she saw a bunch of naked guys at my training command. Lots of privates that day, I assume. I've seen this MILF porno before. Mom's seen dicks before. Gotta go convince my son to go join the army, BRB. Wait, so everyone just showers together and walks around naked? Why don't they use this as a selling point? Sign me up. Today I fucked up by making my daughter, 18 female, sit in the front seat of a horse-drawn carriage. This happened a few weeks ago and apparently was a bigger foo than I thought, since she still is angry at me. Our city has this little festival every year and one thing they have there is horse-drawn carriage rides. My daughter and I thought that might be fun to check out, so we bought our tickets. It was a pretty huge carriage, pulled by several horses. People were filing in and taking seats in the back area, but I led my daughter around to the front area where no one was sitting. Only guy up there was the coachman, but he was wearing earmuffs and didn't look like he'd bother us, and it was wide enough we didn't have to sit too close to him. My daughter said, why sit up there? Everyone else wants the back area. It's not too crowded. We don't have to sit up here. I said, well, it's more privacy. Why not just enjoy it with the two of us? And besides, it's a better view. She said, a better view of what? The horses' rear ends. And that it'd be gross. But what's the point of a horse-drawn carriage far away from the horses? Well, she was right that the horses were gassier than I expected, and they passed gas and stool a surprising number of times for a 1-hour carriage ride. My daughter hated it and would gag each time and turn away. To be fair, I had a cold, but I was kind of amused by it. I didn't think it would be that big of a deal. But after the ride my daughter was surprisingly mad at me and said it ruined her night, and appetite, and even 2 weeks later she won't talk to me. I didn't know just wanting a better seat would hurt my relationship with her this much, but I hope she doesn't stay mad too much longer. Too long did not read. Made daughter sit up at the front of a horse-drawn carriage. Horses were apparently a bit smelly. She blames me for ruining her night. I think, as a parent to an 18-year-old, it's time you start listening to her options about things. I don't think she's mad about the horse farts so much as you invaliding her opinion and ignoring what she wanted. Lol. This was on Am I the Asshole a while back and Op got spit roasted. Literally in his profile. Gotta get that karma to redeem. She communicated and you ignored her opinions, telling her that you knew best. It turned out you were wrong. This is the basics of it. You made her feel worthless and ignored. You have a lot of making up to do. I would start by letting her have a say in something big, like a redecoration of her bedroom, something where you give her full responsibility. This shows a lot of trust, something which she feels, you do not give to her. Edit. I forgot she was 18, so perhaps ignore the room thing. But you need to stop seeing her as your little baby girl and respect she is a full-grown adult now, who has her own opinions, can make decisions and wants independence and to be heard and not dismissed. Was the horse's name Rusty and did the driver give it too much beef-a-reno? Animals are stinky lil buggers, I say that affectionately. And if she doesn't have a high tolerance for things like feces, then it must have been an hour of being waterboarded by the smell of horse shit. Poor lass. Please apologize to her, and in future listen more when she says she doesn't want to do something. Respect her wishes, why no? You wouldn't like if someone made you do something that made you almost throw up for an entire hour.